So the Doodie Loke case is finalized with turning out that a woman was lying on a man. Surprise, surprise. And I know I got a mixed fan base, mixed subscriber base on my YouTube channel. So for those of you who don't know, for those of you who come from the conservative side, this is hip hop news media that we're talking about. So for those of you who don't care about that, you can go ahead and click off now. I'm sure this will bore you. You can wait for my next political subject, which will be happening as soon as something happens. But for this, any of you who are interested in, how can I say it? Let me just go into the story. This is something that you might want to stick around for because it's about justice being served and also protecting children, something that we can all fall in line on, okay? So, try and stay with me here. But basically, Doodie Loke is, God, I hate that name, but he's a rapper from Chicago who is part of Lil Durk's camp, I want to say, who roughly 2 or 3 years ago was accused by his baby mother of committing heinous acts that I really don't want to repeat to their shared child. She even went as far as to record audio recording, maybe even video. I wouldn't have seen the video, but audio recording of the child explaining what was done to him. And it all turned out to be a lie. It turned out that she was training the child to say these things. And let me tell you, let's just say it involved inserting tools into orifices of underage humans. Let me just say it like that, okay? To keep it brief. That's what he was being accused of, and that's what she had her child say out of the kid's mouth. And it all turned out to be a lie. And this week, he was not only, found not guilty of what he was accused of, she was actually found guilty of perjury. And I hope that they go a step farther of that to absolutely remove the child from the situation. Like, you cannot raise your child anymore if you train them and do something like that. That's already irreparable damage. You've already done irreparable damage to the child by having them involved in this crazy, disgusting scandal. And that just shows you how thoughtless some people are. There was no consideration towards the actual child itself. I don't know what spite or vitriol that you can have towards another human that would make you use your child as a pawn to try and get revenge on them without consideration of the long-term damage that you're doing to your own flesh and blood. But those type of people really don't deserve, of course they don't deserve to have the child, but they also pretty much don't deserve to be alive. Especially, I'm not going to say especially a woman, because a parent is a parent, but like, you, at the end of the day, are your child's first line of defense. You're supposed to be the one that they're supposed to go to for comfort. Their primary teacher for a child is going to be the woman. The first place that they learn culture from. And you're out here teaching him to lie about his father doing heinous acts with him. I made this video because I want to first and foremost say, thank God that it wasn't true. But now we have to deal with this horrible reality of this person who's not only lying on this person, but training their child to lie and believe things that happened to them that didn't. And that is just as bad of, let's not talk about what's worse or anything like that. It's a bad place to be in. But I also wanted to make this video because I don't know how many media outlets are going to make videos vindicating Doodie Loke for what he did, because he's not an important, I'm going to say it like this. I've never heard a song by him, probably never will. He's not an important figure in hip hop past the story that he's going through. No offense to him, but I'm just that's from my personal opinion, subjectively. But I'm saying that to say that he's not a super famous rapper. The media very quickly latched onto the story when it came out that he was being accused of these unsavory acts with his child. So I don't know how many of them are going to report a retraction or report the update. Not a retraction. They wouldn't have to retract it. He was actually being accused of those things. But how many of them are going to report an update about him being found not guilty? Now, I've already seen a few sites doing that, so I'm not going to be like, oh, nobody's talking about it. But I want to see every single site that was trying to say that that man was doing what he wasn't doing to his child come out and talk about, you know, how it wasn't true. This is so, like, that is something that is never going to leave his, that's something that's never going to leave his, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracting messages on my phone as I'm writing, but that's something that's never going to leave his reputation. There are people who are never going to let him live that down, even though it wasn't true. And obviously, you know, he should have thick skin about that, because that's just the way the humans are about these kind of things. But, yeah. She should have to pay for the fact that he has to deal with that no matter what. Even though he has to deal with it, like, yeah, you got to deal with that, sir. Like, if you want to continue to be alive, like, and that goes to picking a better baby mama, man, because you chose a woman who would do something like that. I don't know how quick the decision was. You know, it's a boop, bop, whap. But we have to be more, that shows that we have to be more selective of who we do these kind of things with in the first place. And I will say, you could be as selective as you want to be and still not know a person's true character. They could flip on you like a pancake, but you still have to mitigate those risks by making the best decision, using your mind and your gut. Doodie Lo could have very well done all of those things and had this girl completely change character, so I'm not here to criticize him or talk bad about him for these kind of accusations. I'm just happy that it didn't happen to the child. And now the child has things that he will have to deal with because of the, you know, thoughts and scenarios that his mother has put into his head. But some therapy will get that kid to the best repairable position that he can be in. And yeah, I do want to say, for anybody who is in my average viewership base who made it to the end of this video, if you may not be necessarily, you know, particularly enthused by hip hop, I should at least hope that you can get some satisfaction out of knowing that justice was served and truth was told in this story where this woman was trying to put these disgusting acts on this person. I think that's something that we can come together and say that we're glad that it went down this way, and we want to see this woman punished to the furthest extent of the law. So yeah, good news for Doodie Lo. Terrible lie, terrible situation. But yeah, the truth will come to light, hopefully, sometimes, not always. Don't believe that it's always going to happen. It will not always happen, but this time it did.